Morning, guys. As you know, I made a Collodi video, kind of a first look type thing, even though I had looked at him a lot. In fact, I've wanted to play him for a long time, but I've still never actually physically played him, so it was still kind of my first impression of him. And it seemed like the video, people enjoyed it, kind of drawn in not just a Gremlin crowd, but maybe other people might be interested. And now that I spent the last 2 days moving apartments, I have gotten my Malifaux stuff back out. I even gotten my Neverborn stuff out. So technically, I bought Neverborn from a local who need to sell it. It's like metal. It's like half painted. It's here, there, whatever. Good enough to play with, at least in practice and whatnot, in local stuff. Um, I do think I'll need to paint my own set of it for like big tournaments, just because I like it to look kind of cohesive. And this is kind of like weirdly different paint schemes with different bases, and I don't like that kind of stuff. Plus, I need more models because it didn't have really the Wave 3 stuff or Wave 4 stuff in it. So, anyway, I still have enough models to be usable to play, and I think at the tournament next week, the TO said he would let me borrow some Neverborn models if I needed anything. But I have a lot of the Neverborn cards. I'm still missing some, but I do have a good bit of them. So at least I can kind of start going through them and making some thoughts on whether I'll use them or not. So just to be clear, Collodi is the master I'm most interested in, but if I do like ever kind of not switch Neverborn, but ever take them to like serious tournaments, I'll probably need to add a master or two to the mix. I don't want to play Lilith. I don't really. She's good. I'm not gonna say she's bad, but she's been like ever since the beginning of Malifaux. I've kind of hated Lilith because she's like we didn't have Neverborn players down here. We had Lilith players. I think she's like the most overplayed master for me. I think it's gone down recently, where people are playing others, but I kind of hate her like as a master. I just hate like everything about her, so I kind of like refuse to play her. Um, I think Zoraida, um, with some of the Wave 5 stuff and possibly the upgrade stuff, what I've heard, is going to be fun. Um, who else is there? Pandora looks annoyingly fun. I'm looking at the masters now. I won't play Lynch. Lynch, I think, is better in Ten Thunders. Lucius is garbage. Tatiana, don't care. Dreamer, maybe. Um, I'll at least give Dreamer a shot. I actually do really like his theme and whatnot. So it'd probably be Zoraida, Pandora, Dreamer, Collodi would be the ones that I would like try, and then probably pick and see how they go. At least, I always thought Zoraida would be better in Neverborn than Gremlins, so that would be kind of my motivation to play her because I think she's better in that faction. Um, that being said, right now it's about Collodi, first and foremost. What don't want to do, like I did with Gremlins, is buy every single freaking model and then I have a box of value bushwhackers and roosters and war pit wild boars and gators that I don't use because I don't like them. Right? I think they're bad, right? I want to kind of say, all right, for example, I have a bunch of henchmen cards in my hand. I don't want to go and say, oh, let me go buy I have bad juju because of the Zerata box. Obviously, I have some of them, but if they're not going to be useful in Collodi, I'm not going to put them together and take the time to paint them first. So what I want to do is basically say, is this model, is it on the plate? Is it in the? Would you bring it in the bag if you're going to play Collodi? Um, so I kind of want to do again, quote unquote, first look at some of the henchmen in this video. I can have videos with enforcers and stuff, but I have some henchman cards. I have the pull my finger up because I don't own all the henchman cards, and I know there's some that I'm just not going to use. But I'll throw my comments out there. It's just a video for me to look through cards and give a little comments. Aslan, I don't have. Angel Eyes, I don't have. I'm not going to play Angel Eyes. I'm not going to play Aslan. So Bad Juju, I actually have that card in front of me. I've always thought Bad Juju, like I said, I've never played with him, but always felt like he was like pretty good, and I don't know why more people didn't use him. He's 8 stones. He's not like super expensive. Just his base card, 9 wounds with hard to wound and defense 3. He's actually fairly easy to kill. He has regen too, so if you don't take him down in one go, it's annoying. He's terrifying 13, which I like. I guess he has a 0 landslide. Gives slow and suffer 2 damage. 13 willpower within 3. He has flurry. And he has 257 damage that can give paralyzed. Melee 6. I guess as for such like a intimidatingly big model, he's not really as intimidating as I thought. When reading the card. He seems fun though. Maybe not in Collodi because I don't know what he would do, but maybe in the Zoraida list where he can like come back alive, or I don't know. He just 257 is no joke, right? I guess he's just so. I mean, he like Bert will like one round him easily. I know Bert kills everything, but terrifying. I think terrifying. Like I'm just gonna make. I think it's undervalued. Maybe it's just me, but I find it extremely annoying because you don't want to keep low cards in your hand, right? You don't really keep like fives and like fives are usually useless. Now, if you're like a willpower like Gremlins, because I mean, Bird has 7, Frank has 7, but on the average, like their normal models, like their Bayous and stuff, are willpower 4, right? So if you Terrifying 13 is like ridiculous for them. It's a 9. Or they can't hurt you, or they can't do anything. Like the fact that Terrifying, I think, is just really good. It's only versus Living, so it's really good. See, the thing is, a lot of Terrifying Living is very good versus Gremlins because they're like most of them are living, so it makes it extremely card hungry to do the Terrifying checks. And because you have so many models, it's not like you're cheating. You're not cheating that one check. Yeah. If Bert really needs to do it, you'll cheat the one check, the 6, but because it's kind of can be like death by 1,000 cuts sometimes for big models, where you want to charge the Bayou in to finish it off. Like the resource requirements for big terrifying models is like it really drains the value of your deck, in my opinion, in a weird way. So I think terrifying is underused. I think it's amazing. I do think it's good with Collodi. I think having a terrifying model can be very valuable, mainly because it gives you a if you're playing a model that has any sort of range attacks, like even gremlins and stuff, if you ever obey them, so you can either obey them or take their first action, you can like walk them into paralyzed range, or you can obey them. You can shoot somebody. Like there's a lot of uses where, oh, I obeyed your trapper and you shot my bad juju in this example, and you fail. I make you fail your terrifying check. Now you're paralyzed when you activate. So good. That's like really broken to me. But it just has it like, opens up the option. But overall, I don't think Bad Juju will be taken. He's a little too slow. Collodi does work best with like minions and stuff in his faded build, and I think there are some good enforcers and henchmen that go with him. I will say I won't take too long on a lot of these because I think most of them are going to be useless. Like Spawn Mother, I don't even know like what she does. She's 9 stones. I'm not even gonna read her card because I'm definitely not gonna paint her for Collodi. I don't even know if people use her for anything. You need a crow for the egg marker? Whatever. I'm not reading this fucking card. Fuck her. She's not going in the candy. 9. Maybe manipulative. Like see, manipulative I just think terrifying is much better than manipulative. Obviously, in theory, it's not actually. Depends. If you're charged, it takes 3 manipulative checks. If you're terrifying, it takes 1 check. But then you don't have to worry about casting order. When an enemy model within 3 inches of this model activates, it gains a paralyzed condition if it's the first enemy model deck. See, so that can be abused with like uh, insight. If you're like pretty good with it, you get her next to somebody, you insight him, and you say, "Oh, you activate first," and then they paralyze, especially like on a master or something. And then if model activates last, it takes 3 damage, which is whatever. She has casting expert, self-loathing. It's the same as like Pandora, right? Yeah, it's just less cast. Whale. 1, 2, 3 blast. And then it has a trigger for insight, basically mood swing. I don't know, tone. Wow, she is not as good as that. What the fuck? Does she have some upgrade that makes her good? I put all my upgrades away. Fuck Candy. I'm not playing that bitch. Not for 9 stones. Man, it sucks that Collodi's like henchman, Vasily, whatever, is like what is good about her? 7 wounds, 7 defense, 6 wounds. Just asking to be punched in the face and died. She has a needle in the thread, which is 7, does 1, 2, 4, and then she has 3 triggers, of which are like suffer damage or you can't walk. Well, most people just suffer the damage. She does 1, 2, 4. Like, so you do 2 damage instead. Like, what's it matter? And then she has an obey, but no built-in suit. So if you have a mask, she's good. But why not use Collodi? Collodi has a fucking obey. And then she can make a friendly non-leader puppet with an 8 perform 1. I like a stitched, I guess. But like, what puppet is going to be that? Like, why would you take her for 9 stones? Why not just take another of the puppet and have 2 of them? So that's my opinion on her. She's too easy to kill, I think. Barbaros, Black Blood is good. Nimble's good. He's a bit annoying. He's always hard to kill because he's like 6 defense, 7 willpower, 9 wounds with armor. He actually walks very slow. He doesn't fly, but he is nimble. So his threat range is 14 inches. Okay, he's a knockdown trigger. Challenge is nice. I don't think I'll be using him. Definitely not a bad model, but he's not going to be on my first pick. Like a lot of these, like I'm trying to get a pool of models that's fairly tight because I want to be able to learn and be good with the models that I pick, and then maybe branch out from there. Who am I missing? All right, Wrath. I don't care about Wrath. So the two left are the 2 I think have potential. Widowweaver and Nekama. We'll start with Nekama. So Nekama is everyone's favorite model, it seems like, in Neverborn. They say she's like a master on her own. Then I have people bitch. So you hear people bitch about how she's super good and can just take over games, and then you hear about people how she's overcosted compared to like Yas and Mech Rider, and she sucks, right? So she's a melee expert, black blood and flight, regen 1. 12 healthy wounds, and 6 walk, 6 charge, 3 inch. I mean, obviously her melee is one of the best in the games. 3-inch melee, 4, 5, 6. I mean, you don't get too much better, and melee 7. You don't get too much better than that. I doubt birthright's ever going to matter. The bloody beauty is an okay one. And then draw a card after damage. Rejoice. So, not very complicated attacks, and it's really only one trigger. The draw card is the cool one. I don't know how much other ones matter. And then she has, if she kills a non-peon, she heals 2 and provides horrifying duels. And she could hurt herself to black blood people. I think people's black blooding is usually pretty poor. I wish people were better about positioning. I think it's pretty super powerful. The thing about I think Nekoma might be good in like a bag of props list where you're not taking a lot of minions and you need kind of a beater because Collodi can go first into accomplishing Nekoma, and that's it's a hell of a lot of damage if you go Collodi into Nekoma, 4 master AP into 3, attacks from Nekoma, especially if you go first. So she seems like she has a place to try her. I'm not 100% sold on her. She is 13 stones. She can't take the no armor ship, so she can take Fear's Given Form, which can be annoying, in the right spots. So she's kind of those picks where I don't think she has any sort of. She has nothing with Collodi. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't give Collodi anything that, or at least that I could see. But in things maybe bounty pools or reckoning pools, it's nice to have like maybe a condensed pool of better models. So she's at least probably a worth buying because I think there's some list you're gonna play where she's good, and I think in new Zoraida she might be good. Widow Weaver. So this is the one that I think could be really good. I did talk about it in the last video. I'm going to talk about it again because what the hell is that noise? Anyway, so she gives +1 walk to all friendly constructs within 6. That's Collodi himself. And oh, my food's here. Hey babe, where's my food? Thank you. Yeah, I am. But we're gonna keep this in the podcast. They're gonna like this. They're gonna enjoy to see it. I'm talking about one more model, and then I'll eat my thing. Thank you. She got me some food this morning because I've been working all the last 2 days lifting shit up the stairs. Anyway, last model, Widow Weaver. So defense 4 sucks. 7 willpower is nice. 10 wounds, no charge, walk 5. All right. I think her like yeah, she kind of is easy to kill, and that may be something that I learned on the battlefield is like, oh shit, this is bad. Terrifying all, which is nice. 11, not the highest, but it's still a card drain. I mean, it's still something that you can like fuck people over with. Like, oh, you shoot her. You know what I mean? It's resources. +1 walk to all friendly constructs. Extra with 6. You know, that's Stitch. That's Collodi. That's um, marionettes, and yeah, it's Lazarus if you take Lazarus, and that'll be another video where I talk about Lazarus. So I mean, +1 walk like your whole crew is no, that's no joke at all. Like that's a pretty big deal. Walk 6 collide, that's an extra inch of threat. I like it. If you fail horror duel within 6, it's draw 1 card. Hey, if you make somebody fail a horror duel, if they happen to do it, no problem. And she gets web markers at discard if she dies. So she has a 2/3/6 melee 1. She has no charge, so it's really hard to get this. Ignores armor if you ever get him in. And I mean, like I said, with Collodi's Obey, you can really do some nice things where maybe he walks them next to Widow Weaver, fails the. Now they're paralyzed, and now she gets to attack with her 2/3/6, which is not a bad melee. I mean, she's 8 stones, but I like the rest of her card. Um, After damaging, the target gains 3 poison. After damaging, place target makes contact with a friendly web mark within 8 inches. And line of sight of this model. I don't know if that's ever going to matter. It could matter. You could definitely throw them out there. She has an 8-inch shot that causes a horde duel. I think that's like really good. I mean, it's just another annoying thing, right? It's a card sink. It does 1/2/5. Yeah, it's not a ton of damage, but having to take a 12 horde duel is just ugh. And if you're close enough, within 6 inches, it's not a gun either. That's a card she gets if they fail it. And then her Seize Prey, which is 6-inch range against willpower. Target a model, sorry, with 2 or more friendly web markers within 3 inches. Discard all web markers within 3 of the target. The target gains paralyzed or poison 5. Then place this model in the base contact with the target. So another way to paralyze, because she has a 0 to create a web marker, right? It's -1 willpower. So why is that good? Obviously, it's good for her shooting attack and her Seize Prey, but it's also good with Collodi. I mean, it creates a 3-inch, 4-inch bubble, a 6-inch circle, 7-inch circle, so 7 diameter circle, right? So what we got for pi r squared? Pi r squared. So radius is 3.5-ish with the marker, 9, 10. You're talking about 30 square inches, right? That seems about right. Of -1 willpower. I mean, you put that in a good position, you can start walking models into it and being even better for college attacks. Like I said, I'm curious if she's good. I'm curious. I'm not guaranteed, but she's one I want to try. She's one I don't see her very much, but her card seems pretty good. Did you change? Yeah. All right. Anyway, so she's probably my most excited henchman to take. Nekoma being second, everyone else being no thanks. I think it gets better in the enforcer and minion range. Obviously, I think there are several enforcers in Neverborn that are really good, and minions obviously with Collodi are very strong. So they'll probably be good. Uh, that's it for the henchman episode. Thanks for